Welcome back, friends, to another reading for the collective. My name's Ross, and I pop on here every Tuesday and Thursday to offer these collective readings, tuning into the energy of the collective and seeing what wants to come through. And if you're new here, hello. The way that I read tarot is not so much fortune telling, but storytelling. So if there is a part of your story that you find yourself in now and are looking for extra insight into or a different angle of observing it or viewing it, then I invite you to hold that situation, whether it be a thought pattern or an emotional pattern, whatever it is, hold that in your mind or in your heart or wherever it feels most up for you. And in a moment, we'll take 3 deep breaths into that space. And as you exhale, you can imagine it, the sensation traveling through your body, through the phone or device in your hand, and into the cards so that they will be the vehicle for what needs to come through for your particular situation. And so, breathing in and out. You can give a little sound as you're exhaling and breathing in and out. And last time, breathing in and out. I'm recording this on the other side of a full moon, a blue moon at that. So for me, the energy around, actually, it's not really that. Um, I can't say one way or the other. Sometimes the full moons got me all hyped up, and sometimes they get me feeling rather low, but not in a bad way, just in a low tide, low energy kind of way. I did just get back from the woods. I was doing my first part of a full moon ritual, so maybe that's a little bit of why I'm feeling a little low, not in a bad way, just in a restful way, an abiding kind of way. And let's see what is coming through. So, what do the folks need to know about what's going on in their life, in their situation? Show us, please, what is up. That one wants to stay. So, let's kind of start here. Page of Pentacles reversed. I feel like there's been a lot of Pentacle cards coming up. I guess Pentacle cards is redundant. Uh, there's been a lot of Pentacles coming up and a lot of reversals coming up as well. Is that going to stay? Huzzah! Look at that. Pages are the students of the suit, and for me, this feels less like uh, this feels like going from theory into practice. This could be learning about the material world or learning about your finances or any of those kinds of studious aspects of the pentacles, pentacles representing the earth element and the material realm. But with it reversed, it doesn't read so much as a block, but as taking that from the theory into the practice. But let's see what else wants to come out. What else do you want to tell us about the Page of Pentacles? Can we get some more on that, please? Okay. Ten of Swords. Oops. In reverse, though. So all of those and this kind of, yeah, it supports this idea. Swords represent the element of air. They can represent thinking or overthinking, as is the case with the Nine of Swords. With the Ten of Swords, though, in reverse, it's this idea of now all of these swords can fall out. This is, a character who has been stabbed repeatedly in the back, and I've said this before. I've never stabbed anyone, and I don't intend ever to stab anyone. I've been stabbed a couple times. But with regards to this, when it's reversed, all of these swords, which weren't in that deep anyway to begin with, simply fall out. And this is reinforced by this idea with the Page of Pentacles in reverse, that we're moving from the thoughts into the physical. We're going from the realm of thinking about something to actually doing something. This is a character who can now get up now that they have all of these things literally off of their back. And when this card is upright, I like to point out that this isn't blood. This is just a sash or a robe or something like that. And even though much of the sky is black, there is this kind of sunrise yellow golden streak and the blue streak. And with it in reverse, it's kind of this idea of the sunrise, the morning after, maybe the morning after you've chosen to get out of your head and into your body, or out of the floaty, esoteric kind of world and come back to the material world. The material world that we have to reside in while we are here, being these 3D beings in these fleshy meat suits. But that doesn't take away the spirituality. That doesn't take away our connection with our source, however you define that. So where are we going from this? We're out of our head, we're into our body. What is that leading us to? Full moons are a time of release, so that's kind of supported with this idea of these swords falling out, releasing you from the thought patterns that have been keeping you down. Whoa! Yeah, and so we had the Magician, the Emperor, and the Seven of Wands reversed there coming out. And it's very interesting that the Emperor is here. Stand him up because I was seeing him before we tuned in and I didn't want to jinx it. But with the Magician and the Emperor here, it's suggesting this idea of the acknowledgement that you are the magician. You are able to, and this isn't even necessarily esoteric. You know, this is just the idea that where our attention goes, our energy flows. So if we are putting our thoughts, if we're putting our energy into our thoughts, they're just kind of gonna ruminate in there. But if we put our energy into manifesting our thoughts or into doing doing some kind of thing, then that thing is going to be more and more readily available in this material realm. I'm not saying it's going to be instant, but I'm not saying it's going to be instant. 909 as I'm saying that. And yeah, I mean, the Emperor, we've got Father's Day coming up, but this also kind of is this idea of being this master of the material. The Emperor can represent society as an archetype, as how we are showing up in that society. And these cards kind of suggest this idea of moving from planning into actually doing. It's a very yang kind of energy, and the Emperor being this kind of archetypical father, masculine male figure is emblematic of that yang, that doing, that fire energy, and he's got the four, um, the Aries symbol here on his throne. Excuse me. So that is also that fire, and that's also a confirmation burp. And then the Seven of Wands reversed. Yeah, another kind of fire influence, wands being the element of fire. And full moon, if you go by Western astrology, was just in Sagittarius, a fire sign. So there's a lot of fire here that we can use to not destroy, but purify, to cleanse the thoughts, to cleanse the plans, and see what is useful, what is not, what turn can we turn what is unuseful into something that's useful, and then how do we take that and bring it down into the world. And with the Five of Wands here in the reversal, it's coming not as a warning, but as a caution. Like when we see it like this is a character who has risen above the squabbles and has their own integrity, intensity. What is the word I'm looking for? Agency. Those other words are true, but agency is the word I'm looking for. They have their own agency. They've risen above the noise and the huddled masses. They have transcended something. Just a caution to remember how easy it is to fall. Just as easily as these swords can fall out, so too can you fall. And the great thing about falling, especially for someone who is on the journey, like I know you are, is that it's not a long time before you're getting back up again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm laughing as I say that because it's this idea of things are lining up. So even if you do face setbacks, it's not for long because you have the wherewithal. You understand that you are the magician, that you can transform any situation into something that benefits you. You can find the silver lining, and you're actually well within your masculine energy to create those silver linings by yourself from whatever is coming up. And since we have this masculine energy, I'm feeling called to pull one of these. And then let's just see who it is that is supporting this. In this last season, there was a lot of support from the grandmothers. So maybe with June being Father's Day or having Father's Day in it, we'll have some of the grandfathers coming through to assist. So which divine masculine presence is here supporting us? Can we get some insight or some more elucidation about this kind of masculine energy and how best to use it on our journeys in what we are creating? Speaking of creation, I am recreating my website and my web presence. I don't know if I've updated this page yet to represent that, but shortly I will. And I'm very excited about all of that. So if you want to dive deeper into your own creation and what you are creating, we can get together for a one-on-one reading where we read the story that your soul came here to tell. It's not the collective energy, it's your individual energy. We get to go a little bit deeper, and yeah, I love doing those readings. I've got one coming up after this. So let's see, the cards are stingy today. It's almost as if the full moon energy affected them as well. Everything in moderation, everything on its own time. So, who is it? Who is it that walks with us? Is it all of you? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the lesson, that we can't decide who wants to come out because they're all with us. Is that so? Is there anyone that wants to come out and make themselves known to us? Anubis. Interesting. Anubis was coming up for me in something else. Are we going to stand? I think it would be difficult. There we go. Strive toward a return to balance, but enjoy your time in the extremes. Contrast provides you with a profound enhancement of the experience. This is Anubis's message. Imagine the exquisite feeling of eating a burger after a week of only eating jelly because you had your wisdom teeth out. The pure bliss of sleeping in your own bed after a wild weekend of camping in the bush. The ecstasy of a hot shower after a cold walk caught out in the rain. Contrast is where life exists. Contrast deepens, stretches, and builds. Being out of balance is necessary and good for us. Returning to homeostasis is integral for the health of your system. Nevertheless, times out of balance are integral for living. So much living occurs through periods in the extremes. The most memorable moments in life tend to happen after the pendulum has swung from one side to the other. The light and shadow, the masculine and feminine, action and rest all live outside the restraints of balance. Peaceful bliss is found in the center. Although drawn out for too long, it turns from peace to stagnation. You will naturally be attuned to when your nervous system requires you to err toward equilibrium. Learn to stay in the present moment and tune in with your body, emotions, and needs. This will help you become a pro at knowing when and how to bring yourself back to harmony. Working on self-worth will give you the desire to look after yourself, knowing you deserve to have your needs met. Balance can often be found through the energy opposite to that you have mostly been in. If you feel out of whack, look to the other side. If you've been doing lots of shadow work, seek some levity. If you've been resting a lot and feel a state of atrophy, return to action. If you were completely balanced in each moment, you would be bored with no growth, transformation, or experiences. Contract and expand rather than just seek equilibrium. Similar to a rubber band shooting forward after being flung backward, you can experience benefits from times of contraction. Swing forth on the pendulum of life, enjoying the highs, the lows, the ebbs, and the flows, and recognize the areas that would benefit from finding some peace. Hmm. And I think that's the oracle that we'll close with today. And this idea of swinging back and forth from extremes seems to be relevant here with these reversals coming out and then these two upright. And, we go from minor arcana to the major arcana. And then, like I was saying, this is really speaking to that idea of not allowing yourself to be swayed into complacency from equilibrium. I don't think there's anything wrong with searching for that centeredness But it is important in my perspective to understand and understand that we can only ever really get near to that, at least while we're here on this planet. If we were to get to center here, we would just not only be bored, but we would just evaporate off of the planet and go back into the stars. 2020, as I'm saying that. So, and it's not a striving, it's an allowance of allowing yourself to return to near center. That's my philosophy. That is the philosophy that's baked into every offering from the Mythology studio. All the paths lead near center. And I'm happy to walk a path with you for as long as necessary. So make sure you save this. If something in this spoke to you, send it to a friend if you think someone else could benefit from it. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. It's free. Who cares? And I will be back here on Thursday for another reading for the collective. But until then, my friends, I wish you nothing but peace, love, and happiness from this day forward. Take care.